Welcome back to another ukulele tutorial. I'm Lara, and today I'm going to show you 4 patterns that you can use to play White Christmas. We'll start with an easy strumming pattern and then move into 3 beautiful fingerpicking patterns. You'll find the patterns, lyrics, and chords on screen as we move through this lesson. You can also download them as a PDF from my Patreon page, and you'll find the link down below in the video description. Join me for a play-along after the tutorial, where I'll play through the entire song, alternating between patterns, and you can play along with me. I'm playing a tenor with a low G. If you have a high G on your ukulele, you can follow this entire tutorial. Just keep in mind that the patterns will sound slightly different on your instrument because your 4th string is 1 octave higher than mine. Now let's get started by taking a look at how to play the chords in this song. Our first chord is G. I'm playing the 2nd fret of the 1st and 3rd strings with my middle finger and index finger. And then I'm also playing the 3rd fret of the 2nd string with my ring finger. Next we have A minor. I'm playing A minor with my middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. Next we have A minor 7, which is all open strings. Our next chord is D. D is played across the 2nd fret of strings 2, 3, and 4. I'm playing this with my ring finger, middle finger, and index finger. Next we have our C chord, which is the 3rd fret of the 1st string. Then we have D7. D7 is the 2nd fret of strings 2 and 4. You can play this either with your middle and index fingers or with your middle and ring fingers. Next we have G7. G7 is played with our index finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string and our middle and ring fingers on the 2nd fret of strings 1 and 3. Next we have C minor. C minor is a bar chord across the 3rd fret of strings 1, 2, and 3. You can play this with your index finger right up against the fret, and if you need additional support, you can use your middle finger against your index finger. Our final chord is D diminished 7. This chord is a bit tricky. I'm using my middle and index fingers on the 1st fret of strings 2 and 4, and then my pinky and ring fingers on the 2nd fret of strings 1 and 3. This chord is optional, but it does add a beautiful sound to the end of the 2nd and 4th verses. Our first pattern is an easy strumming pattern. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. Let's take a close look at this pattern and how to apply it to our song. For this first pattern, we'll play a down strum on the 1st of every 4 beats. Rather than a traditional down strum, we're going to play this as an arpeggio. An arpeggio is a broken chord where we hear each string ringing out separately. This gives a very sweet sound to this pattern for this particular song. I'm using my index finger to play this arpeggio. However, you could use your thumb. You can try it both ways and see if you have a preference. The rhythm of this pattern is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Taking a look at the first verse, we'll play this pattern once on every chord, so each time the chord changes, we'll play 1 arpeggio. As an example, here's how it looks to strum the first line, starting on G, going to A minor 7, and then D. I'll count the beats along with the chords. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'll sing through the first verse, adding in the lyrics. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. If you're enjoying this lesson, please give this video a like, and thank you so much for subscribing. Now we're moving into our second pattern. Let's take a close look at this one. Here's the second pattern played at a slow tempo on our G chord. I'm starting with an arpeggio through all 4 strings, and then I'm picking string 4 with my thumb, string 3 with my index finger, and then string 2 with my middle finger. The rhythm of this pattern is 1, 2, 3, 4. As we bring this pattern up to the tempo of this song, it sounds like this. For the second verse, we'll play this pattern once on every chord for the first 3 lines. As an example, playing the first line will sound like this. When we get to the 4th line, we have chords every 2 beats rather than 4 beats, and there are a couple of options on how to play this line. The first option, which is the easier option, is to skip the D diminished 7 and the D7 chords. So we're just going to play G, C, and G. We'll play this pattern once on our G chord, once on C, and then we'll play this pattern twice on G. The second option, which is a little more difficult because of the faster chord changes, is to play an arpeggio on each chord for the first 4 chords. So we'll play an arpeggio on G, then we'll play an arpeggio on D diminished 7, then on C, then on D7, and then we'll finish this line by playing our pattern twice on G. Now I'll play through the second verse using the second pattern, adding in the lyrics. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white. And now we have our third pattern. Let's take a close look at this one and how to apply it to our song. Here's our third pattern, played at a slow tempo on our G chord. The rhythm here is 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm starting by playing the 4th string with my thumb, then the third string with my index finger, then strings 1 and 2 together with my middle and ring fingers, then I'm going back to the third string with my index finger. Bringing this pattern up to the tempo of this song sounds like this. The third verse is exactly the same as verse 1. We're going to play this pattern once on every chord. So for example, here's how the first line will look. Now I'll play through the third verse using this pattern. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. Now we've come to our final pattern, which is a Travis picking pattern. Here's how this sounds. Let's take a close look at this one and how to finish the song. Here's our fourth pattern, our Travis picking pattern, played at a slow tempo on our G chord. I'm starting by playing strings 1 and 4 together with my thumb and middle finger. Then I'm playing string 3 with my thumb, string 2 with my index finger, string 4 with my thumb, string 1 with my middle finger, and then I'm finishing on string 3 with my thumb. The rhythm of this pattern is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Bringing this pattern up to the tempo of this song will sound like this. Taking a look at our fourth verse, this verse is identical to verse 2. We're going to play this pattern, or any of our patterns, once on every chord change for the first 3 lines. Here's how it looks to play our Travis picking pattern on the first line. When we get to the fourth line, we have the same 2 options that we had on the fourth line of the second verse. So the easier option is to play any of our patterns once on G, once on C, and then twice on G. Here's how this would look using our Travis picking pattern. The other option for this fourth line that we looked at the end of the second verse was to do an arpeggio on each chord for the first 4 chords. We could do that, or we could also finger pick all 4 strings at once, since this is a finger picking pattern that we're doing right now. So here's how this would look, starting on G, then going to D diminished 7, then going to C, D7, and then we'll play our Travis picking pattern twice on G. For the final G chord, you can also replace the final pattern with 1 arpeggio to end the song. Here's how this would look. Now I'll play the fourth verse using this fourth pattern and adding in the lyrics. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas with every Christmas Christmases be white. Now we've come to our play along. I'm going to play through the entire song, all 4 verses, alternating between the different patterns. I'm going to play this instrumental only, without the lyrics, so you can really hear how it sounds to move back and forth between the different patterns. The lyrics will be on screen, so as you join me for this play along, you're welcome to sing the lyrics. If you find that a slower tempo would be helpful for this play along, then feel free to slow down the playback speed of the video down in the video settings. 5, 6, 7, 8. I hope you've enjoyed learning 4 beautiful ways to play White Christmas. Happy holidays, and thank you for watching.